This is the Simrep DDUXX1 dashboard. It's large, it's really wide, it's crisp and clear, it looks awesome, and you can fit stacks of genuinely useful info on it. But the most important thing you need to know about it is that it requires a HDMI connection to work. That took me by surprise. Let's have a look. Thanks to Simrep for providing the DDUXX1 for review, but as always, this is a review, not an ad. Good and bad points shown, if I find any. Watch the whole video through first, but if you do proceed to buy, then you can get 5% off this and other things on Simrep's site using code DannyLee. The initial impression of the DDUXX1 is a nice one. It's a very wide glass unit with an aluminium enclosure, cold to the touch and somewhat heavy in hand. It doesn't feel or look cheap. USB and HDMI cables are also provided. Both are required for the unit to work. Both are fairly long in length, so should cover most people's scenarios. Also provided are mounting arms made out of carbon fibre. These are designed to be able to bolt to various wheelbase manufacturers. I've attached mine to this Asetek Forte wheelbase by sandwiching it to the front faceplate like so, although this isn't shown in Simrep's manual, so I'm going slightly off-piste with this. I personally had to make some concessions to accommodate the dashboard. Firstly, I had to move my monitor back about an inch and my wheelbase forward about an inch. It's somewhat common sense here, but it's worth stressing that adding a dashboard is not necessarily compromise free. You may have to forfeit some territory to fit it in. Now, I didn't do a tremendous amount of homework on the DDUXX1 before agreeing to review it. I expected it to be just another USB-C based device, like most accessories are. This is not how it works. It requires a USB and HDMI connection in order to operate, because this dashboard is actually just another display connected to your PC. It actually shows up as another monitor in your Windows display settings, and this is the basis upon which it works. So, if your HDMI slot on your graphics card is already occupied, then that means you're going to have to make special considerations for this, and for me that means I have to swap the HDMI cables around when I go to use the rig. Long story short, just be aware of that HDMI dependency. It does state this on Simrep's product page when ordering, but I'm just highlighting it here. Grid's Porsche Cup display unit also requires a HDMI connection, but this Asher one doesn't, this Simatech one doesn't, this Delta Simtech one doesn't, this Solpec one doesn't. You get the picture. Whatever the reason may be, Simrep's dash needs HDMI, and as such is one of the big things to highlight to you in this video. So, installation. The DDUXX1 is driven by SimHub, as are a lot of things these days. Installation is pretty simple if you follow the manual, and then you can select your preferred dashboard theme. There are only two at the time of review that are put forth by Simrep themselves, the standard layout and the lovely dashboards layout. The standard dashboard is quite sparse and basic. There's not a grand deal to say about it because there's a clearly superior alternative available to you. The lovely dashboards template module really sprinkles a ton of usefulness all over this, and you're best off opting directly for that straight away. This dashboard layout is packed to the rafters with masses of information, and it's all delivered very elegantly. Lovely dashboards are clearly deserving of the name. Each half of the screen is fully utilised with a great centrepiece of data. I've recently gotten into iRacing's GTP cars with hybrid systems and adjustable suspension. I also cannot see any of the steering wheel on my screen due to my field of view settings. I really need to see a lot of information whilst driving these things. They're quite interactive cars if you want to get the best you can out of them. I need a way to know what my traction control, anti-roll bars, energy deployment and brake bias are set to, and this manages to find a place to show it to you all in one pane of glass. No more flicking through iRacing's black boxes, it's all there. And this might not be such a problem on other simulators, but it helps here. It's an excellent platter of info and highly customizable using that lovely dashboard plugin within SimHub, which drives it. Although there is a paid version of this plugin, I found the free version had everything I wanted, including a nice idle screen. You're going to be very limited in terms of the amount of pre-built templates available for this display due to that ultra-wide format, so it's a very good thing that one of those is very good. Overall, the Simrep DDUXX1 is such a large and somewhat complex screen that it's not the ideal choice for someone that just fancies adding a dashboard unit. You should ideally have a pretty good idea what you're going to want this one for and why. You need to have a reason why you want this one specifically. That HDMI dependency and ultra-wide format make it more technical to deploy, albeit not by much, but it does. You may have to make concessions or considerations that you otherwise wouldn't if it was a plain and simple USB-C device. Even so, it's a real go big or go home dash with an excellent, sharp and highly responsive screen. It's slightly more demanding of you, but it's slightly more awesome as a result. But wait, there is one thing I've omitted so far from this video that maybe you've noticed or maybe you haven't. You might have been so engrossed in the splendour of that ultra-wide screen that you didn't notice the lack of any rev lights or flags. That is something many dashboard units offer, but not this. Not with physical lights anyhow. Real lights do complement the immersiveness of sim racing, so it's a shame that there's none to be found here. Add that to your equations when you're deciding on the right DDU for you. That's it. I hope this was entertaining and informative, and thanks to Simrep for sending the unit for review. If you do decide to buy, then you can get 5% off at Simrep by entering Danny Lee at checkout. Cheers again.